So army sent the first patrol which army sent was Saurabh and his team. Baki, our soldiers there, and they were trapped. They didn't come back. They were taken as prisoner of war. War had actually not happened, but they were termed as POWs, and they were tortured brutally. Like
Yes.
सौरभ के तो आंख ये कर दिए थे, उंगली तोड़ दिए थे, सिगरेट बट्स थे और उसके बाकी साथी. So that was a denial of Geneva Convention.
So let's welcome a guest on YouMeNaturally podcast, Lieutenant Commander Bijay Nair, who is a retired naval officer, a war veteran, a marathon runner, an author, a motivational speaker, and he runs a YouTube channel which is helping young aspirants. So today we'll be talking about Sir's journey, his experiences, and a lot about Indian Defence Forces. Welcome, sir.
So, without further ado, let's get started. Hello, sir. How are you feeling?
Hi, both Chandra Prakash and Harsh, right?
Praharsh.
Praharsh, yes.
Yes.
And yeah, thanks to your channel, You Me Naturally, for inviting.
Yes.
And yeah, I look forward to the conversation.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so how was your childhood? Where did you grow up? And how was Navy or coming into Army? How does that thought came into your mind?
So yes, I'm born and brought up in Mumbai, uh, predominantly from a suburbs in Mumbai. If you know the geography of Mumbai, Mumbai is like we have western, we have central, and we have eastern. That's how the Mumbai is. So I'm born and brought up in a central suburb rather. So there's a place called Bhandup, which is two station away, which is the last two station of Mumbai. So so my childhood, I'm 1976 born, so that makes 46 years. And growing up was predominantly in 80s and 90s, when schooling and college and enjoying college and attempting for NDA, everything was in that particular block of years. And as far as schooling is concerned, so I'm a Keralite, but as I said, brought up in Mumbai. And as far as schooling is concerned, I studied in a English school which was run by a Malayali trust. So it's a small school. It was run by state board. It's a state board school, unlike convent or a KV or a Rimkholian or a Doon or something. So it was a very small school. So that was early childhood. Two siblings, brothers, both my younger brothers, and of course, currently I'm married, and as you all know, so we are settled here. My wife Mala and my daughter Shloka. So, and my parent stays with me. So this is what is my current thing. So yes, growing up was tough because 80s and 90s was when the economy was not opened in our country. You see, the globalization had not happened then. And then why I bring this topic here is because of that there were a dearth of jobs. Jobs were not that easily available. So our fathers, I mean my father, their generation, they always stuck to one job, whatever they got. Unlike us, unlike our generation, your generation, wherein job hopping is a very common affair. But for them, बहुत मुश्किल था वो because एक जॉब अगर चला गया तो फिर then you don't find a job, like you become jobless and things won't work. And if you see now like uh, generally the young generation parents go for one kid and things like that, but our generation, our parents believed in having siblings and things like that.
Yes.
That becomes more cost oriented rather, so having one salary of 3,000, 4,000 rupees and
And
three people
managing
to,
these many people, yes, sir.
yeah, so that's how the why I'm coming to this point is because your globalization had not happened, job scenarios were difficult, and the skills were not available, plus you had so many people to feed.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you stuck to one job, like there is no other option for you to grow. So that was my parents how they brought us. But it they always ensured that you get proper education, and education was given utmost priority, because being from lower middle class, that only saves you, right? Either you educate yourself and move up into the next strata of society, or you be where you are and then get stuck, right? So I'm not saying that. A lot of my friends, we were generally brought up in a very small place in Mumbai. When I say small place, it is in a reference to our house. So in Mumbai, we call typically a very small house. We call it as chawl. The chawl is like one house, 110 square feet. Adjacent, there would be many such houses, and then in that density, the density is huge. A lot of people stay in very less area. So how overly crowded, overly crowded. It's more on volumes and things like that. That's how Mumbai was of before globalization happened. That is 1990. Yeah. So then, when things opened, when job opportunities came, when the next generation they studied, then the scenario were different. People moved into next strata of society. So that's how the schooling was given utmost priority. And then when I was in ninth standard, eighth, ninth standard, that was the first time I got inclined towards the armed forces. Why? Why? Because of two of the TV serials of our times. That
Mm.
was Paramveer Chakra and
Yeah.
Fauji. Like today's generation, you guys would be motivated by seeing a movie like Uri or Sher Shah.
Same
So
channel. Yes.
for us, it was the two serials which motivated us to, at least look for armed forces as a career option. And
Mm.
thus the quest started. Because being from a small place, there was no proper guidance, on how will you join the armed forces. We even didn't knew the difference between an officer and the other ranks. लाइक अगर आप ऑफिसर एंट्री में जाना चाहते हो तो क्या करना है, अदर रैंक में जाना है, तो अपने लिए सब कुछ फौज था, बट luck plays an important part, plus destiny plays an important part. And that's how, by chance I met one of those person officer who was from the Indian Navy. It was by chance, like through some friend's uncle. And at that point of time, I was not even knowing the ranks and other things, right? When I met him, that is the time we came to know that he's a retired lieutenant commander, a very old lieutenant commander. And he guided us. He guided three of us. Three of us were there, like how to go about if you want to join the armed forces. That's the first time I was hearing about NDA, National Defense Academy. And then, yeah, once you come to know, then you start, researching about how to go, what is NDA first of all, and then how to go. So when I started to know about NDA, there was this. Even today, there is this Pathfinder publication, which is a book, which is a publication. Yeah, correct. So this publication, even today, they stand this publication house. So through that publication, I came to know about the various ways, or how the NDA exam happens, what all you have to study, what all paper you have to study, and thus began the journey. And then I cleared the NDA exams, written exams, and then yeah, of course there was service selection board interview 5 day. It was supposed to be tough, wherein like being from a small school and from a small place, there were a lot of inferiority complex which has sucked in, because generally people who come for NDA are from very strong background with strong academics, and a very command over their language and things like that. But for me it was exactly the opposite. English was weak, and the inferiority complex was totally stuck in, because you were not knowing about the things. But yes,
As we say,
things changed.
confidence comes from preparation, that kind of thing. Maybe you might have not thought that you're prepared enough, or maybe not have enough command over your language at that time. Maybe due to that.
Yeah, because as I said, we were from a very small school, so वहाँ
Yes,
पर कैसे कि unlike a convent or things, English, though we were from English medium, but that was not given top priority, right?
yes, sir, we
So
totally
that's
get
how. But however, things changed when I went to SSB for 5 days. I cleared the first day when you clear the screening, and once that happened, uh, the confidence and motivation came within. When you see everyone else, and then yes, as the day progressed, various tests happened, and then by the time you realize, you were already at the last day in the conference. And when the results were announced, there were four of us, four people who got selected. Mine was the fourth number which was called on that day. It was a surprise, because I was never expecting. I did well, but I never expected that I'll crack NDA. But as they say, so it was a golden moment, definitely, because that was the dream, ultimate dream, to join the armed forces as a NDA cadet. you know. But yes, my priority was Navy. Of course, I wanted to through NDA. I would have been opting for Navy. That was my first choice. Nothing like that. But as I said, the place where I stay in Mumbai, that's pretty close to a naval cantonment. There's a naval civilian cantonment, and probably that inspired a lot, because we have seen day in and day out uh, about the people, about the various aspects of Navy, people going inside the gate and coming out. Probably that was one big motivation. Of course, the uniform, the whites and the golden stripes, that motivate. That probably was the edge over everything else, and that's why I wanted to opt for Navy. But then, it was short-lived. The happiness was short-lived. Uh, on the fourth day of medical, the last day, so they detected some issue with my eyes, 6 by 6. I was not having 6 by 6. That's what they said. Even I don't know the reason even today, because that's right. So see, what happens is NDA के एग्जाम में medicals are so strict. एक बार उन्होंने ना बोल दिया, तो there is no option. Only option is to go and appeal. They just throw you out from there. So even today, I don't wear specs. I just wear it as an anti-glare or something. I don't know what happened. So, but for appealing, I had to go to Delhi, and then financial condition didn't permit us to move away and appeal, and then only option was to leave it. So it was a very painful moment, and once that dream crashes, बोलते हैं ना सपने टूटना, it's really painful. It's really painful. Yeah, and that too when you are so close to your dream. But nevertheless, I went on to, the next best option was to do engineering, since I had decent marks in 12th standard. So I pursued my engineering, and then first 2 years was disaster, because your heart was somewhere else, right? So you were always in that so your heart was constantly in NDA. You could hear some progress about your batchmates, but then you have to. So engineering made a big realization of the fact that anything can happen. Being an engineering student, first semester was the first time I failed in my life, and that too not one paper, two paper. It was, I think, five paper out of eight, uh, with some pathetic marks also. I remember scoring a
even we can relate to your point, because even we face difficulties sometimes.
mine was so bad that one of the papers I had got 0 out of 100. That was so bad. Because Delhi nahi tha na. But
Uh,
the good thing about Bombay University is that they ensures you, they give you every chance to be an engineer. वो धक्का मार के एक के सेमेस्टर 80 KT ले लो 2 KT. Yeah, they support you to make you an engineer. And then second semester was no different. It was static से dynamics में आ गए, मतलब like dynamics, then that was equally hard. There also I lost some 4 papers, and so carry over papers were so much more than the regular subjects. It went on till second year, and in my fifth semester, start of fifth semester, there was this advertisement which had come. One of my friend got that paper. Uh, they join Indian Navy as short service tech. And then see what happens is when you have a goal again, it's all about goal. So when I read that, only realization was that you need to have first class in last 4 semester to be eligible for appearing for that interview, SSB interview. And the journey started, the reverse journey started, the upward trend started, because you had a goal, right? Now you have a goal. When you have a goal, you work towards it. That's how life is. And then I cracked first class in last all 4 semester, with being in the topper in the last semester, eighth semester. So, so the thing is, that's how the life should be, rather, because as a human everything is possible. When you desire कि मुझे ये करना है तो करना है. And then thus I became eligible for appearing again for SSB interview. This time I cleared yeah, so technical entry, and then I cleared SSB interview. I went for medicals. Same thing happened with the eyes, but as I say, it was a border case. So this time the concerned medical officer was a bit lenient, and I cleared medical. Yeah, and when the All India rank merit comes, so that was not difficult because I was All India rank 4. So, and there were some 30 seats, so more or less it was clear that you will be joining. So the journey was beautiful, and once I cleared the eighth semester results were out, and then that's how on 3rd January 1999 I was in academy. So academy, door of academy. So this was the journey from nowhere to Indian Naval Academy.
So I can totally understand about the medical thing because even I wanted to appear for NDA, but I had a surgery in my hand, so like I cannot.
Oh, true. And medicals are so tough
Yes, exactly.
uh, that just one second.
Sure, sure.
sure.
Medicals are so tough. There is no option. Either you are in or you are back, you are out.
Clearly.
There's no third option.
Hmm.
And what they say is the golden line. You
Hmm.
can't argue. You can't do anything,
Exactly.
right? So that's how life is, and that was the entire circle of journey.
Hmm.
Yes.
So
So,
even I went to a when my father was an NSG, so I went to army doctor. I told him so I wanted to appear, but I had a surgery. So he clearly said that you are unfit for medical. So I was like, okay, I cannot join.
Mm-hmm.
so I was about to ask that did you had at any point did you had this in your mind that if you go for this serving your country, then there might be a chance that you will miss out on your family life or that kind of thing? Did this thought come in your mind?
No, definitely not, because priorities were very clear, very, very clear.
Really?
Because you know everything, you know the consequences, why you join the armed forces. Because if you think of too much of family and everything, your comfort, so this is not the right profession then, because you're always at heck and call, and that was very, very clear, very, very clear. But as life progressed, so that was at one point of time when I was joining. But things changes. I won't mix my words here. Things changes when you get into family, when you move into when you become a father. Things changes. Nothing remains same. And for me also things changed. I gave my best 10 years to Navy, and then when it was time for being a short service commission, I had an option of coming out after 10 years. but doing pretty well. Had a great career in the Navy with so many decorations at that young age, and I was given a option for permanent commission. But then I weighed so many things, being if I had I continued permanent commission, there were a lot of permutations and combinations. Probably family life. Now comes the family life, the one which I was ready to sacrifice everything. At this phase of time, at the age of 32, I was having a daughter. She was 3 years old, and then things changed. So I wanted to be more with them, and then I realized that I had given my best to my country 10 years, and now maybe time that when I come out and when I opt off, it was not that I was leaving Navy midway. It was I have finished my commission. 10 years का जो commitment था वो खत्म कर लिया था. And so that sufficed me. That somehow gave me a solace कि ठीक है जितना मैंने commit किया था मैंने कर लिया करके. So the question is कि yes, family comfort and all. It again depends on time to time, at your phase, your age, and so many things plays a. At the young age of 22, nothing mattered to me. Nothing mattered to me. It was only
Clearly,
that.
it was the country that was you were dreaming about, right? Serving your
So
nation,
true.
that was your first priority. But later on, as your life grew up, you realized that even your family deserves some of your time. So you
Exactly.
decided. Yes,
With
Exactly.
age, your priorities also
clearly
change.
changes. Yes.
Definitely. That's how life should be, right?
Hmm. Yes, sir.
So, sir, what was the reaction of your family when you were doing a passing out parade? What was that day like? Because coming out from a small background, you did such a big thing. That was such an
That
auspicious day.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That must
So
have
so
been a really proud moment for your parents as well.
so passing out is one of the very important phase of your armed forces career. It is one of those beautiful moments which you have to live and which you will never forget throughout your life. So for my parents, first of all, they were not having any idea of what exactly happens on passing out. So they had come from Mumbai to Goa. So those days, academy used to be in Goa. Now it's at Aimala. Those days it used to be in Goa. So they had come, and then passing out parade is where you march out with slow march, with bugle and choppers and heptas showering flowers on you. It's a moment, and then you cry. All of us cry, and along with the slow march and with the song, all length sang. There is a song which plays, and then you cross the Antim Pag. So when you cross the Antim Pag, it's a very goosebump moment. Even today, I get that goosebump. And after that, all of us line up, and with a call of bugle, your parents, generally the tendency is that mother stands on the left. They say close to heart is mother, so mother is always given that place, and father on the right side. And with the bugle, they open that white cloth on the on the stripe. And once that is open, they their son or daughter to the nation. There is a oath ceremony which happens. So it's a very beautiful moment for all of us, for the officer who's for the cadet to an officer and the parents. And then it's an overwhelming moment for all there are so many coastmates, their parents, and the academy. So yes, it was a great moment. We still cherish that moment. And my parents cherish that moment.
Yes, sir. So moving forward, so there we all know about the Kargil war. So, sir, talking about Kargil war, when did you came to know that you're going for the war?
So yes, so I passed out of academy in 1999, as I said, and we were doing our sub courses. So what happens is when you pass out of academy, you do your sub courses, uh, like what army says, yeah, a YO course, we call sub courses. So we were doing at various places, and that is when the Kargil war was at its peak. It was going on. So all our courses were terminated, and then we were sent on board warships. Probably Navy thought this is the right opportunity for young bloods to see how a war happens or things. So many of us were really lucky to be part of the war, at that early phase in life. and thus we were told to report to ship. So I reported on a ship of Eastern Naval Command, which had come to Western Naval Command because uh, Operation Talwar, it is called Operation
Yes.
Talwar.
Yes.
Navy termed it as Operation Talwar.
Mm.
Operation Talwar had 33 frontline warships at the mouth of Pakistan, Karachi, Okha, that side.
Mm.
And then, yes, when I reported to ship, this was my first ship posting,
Mm.
and nothing was, familiar. Only when we were in academy, so academics में सुनते थे. And
Ah.
here I was in that ship, the junior most officer, the junior most. And there was one midshipman who was a bit junior to us.
It must have been very tough.
And
Ship life is actually very difficult because
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So ship life is really very tough because, what you see, the glamour of uniform is one part, but there are different type of ship. So on some ship which you go, you have there are 200 plus people living in it, and it's a warship. It's not a comfort ship, unlike merchant or a cruise ship. Your cabins are small, your bunks are small, you have shared washrooms and shared bathrooms and things like that. Life is not at all hunky dory. Plus the seasickness aspect, because it's not a stable platform. So, yeah, so very next day, there is a tradition of having breakfast with the commanding officer. And when I was marched in to meet him, and we were having breakfast, that is the time I was told, he asked me that, son, do you know where you are going? And that was the time I was told that I'm going part of war. So as I always say, the first emotion is fear, because irrespective of whether you have trained from academy or anywhere, the first human emotion is fear. So I was also nothing different from that. For me also, the first emotion was fear. The fear of uncertainty, the fear of losing yourself, the fear of losing your loved ones, the fear of not achieving what you have aimed for, because war, you never know when you're going to come back or not. So yes, first emotion fear होता है. But उसके बाद the euphoria takes over. The euphoria of being there, the euphoria of being, getting that privilege to go for a war at that age. Not many in our country get that chance. Very very few and lucky few. And Navy, though very very lucky few get that chance, unlike Army and Air Force. So yes, the euphoria took over, and then of course the next 35 days we were at sea, close to Okha border, Pakistan border. That is the sea, what we call the sea border, which is a place called Okha in Gujarat. And we were very close to Karachi, and we were waiting orders, practicing our drills and things like that. But yes, the Kargil war was happening very fiercely. Army had taken hold of everything. Air Force was supporting. The Air Force called it as Operation Safed Sagar. Army called it as Vijay, and we called it as Talwar. And the entire operation was called as Ops Vijay. So so Pakistan surrendered for various reasons. One of the reason was the blockage of their ships and some other thing by Navy. So this is one of the main reasons, other than the exploits of Army and Air Force. And then, of course, they were left with some 6 days of fuel and ration in their country. Uh, Thus, they surrendered, and then it was our victory on that particular day. And in July, we celebrate the Vijay Divas or the Kargil Divas or whatever you call. So by being at the war front, war zone, so we are entitled to wear the Vijay Star and Vijay Medal. So that's how you can see on my uniform if you have seen. So that first two medals are that war medals.
Hmm. So
So
that
it was
must have been a great task for you, even mentally. Means, as you said, that you came to know on later on that you are going for the war when you assembled, when you met. So that must have been a great thing for you, no? Means, how did you
exactly because
positively? As you said that you went for 35 days and you made sure that Pakistani troops means they were helpless. So how did you handle that situation?
like as I said, being the junior most officer, you are not directly exposed to things.
exactly.
You only hear from your senior guys and what's
Hmm.
happening. But yes, you were part of that scheme and entire briefing you were part of. So, yes, you were witness to so many things happening, what exactly happens in a war and all. Uh, overall, mentally, it was a very challenging phase because, you are at certain point you are in an emotion, and certain point you are in euphoria, and certain point you are, uh, at uncertainty and so many things. So it was a mixed moment for me.
So, what was the role of Indian Navy in the Kargil War? Navy definitely played a very significant role, but I feel Navy has not been given enough recognition towards the end of the war. As you said, you Navy blocked the supply of the
Supplies.
Pakistanis, so that was the main, to surrender the Pakistani surrender. That was the main agenda for them. So, why do you think Navy has not been given enough recognition?
See, generally, we are termed as the silent force, we are termed as silent force. And then any country's armed forces, if you see the strength of any armed force, it is, of course, the army is based on number and the tactical thing, but the world is occupied by water. And if your armed forces have to be strong, your navy has to be strong. We are strong, no doubt. Those days also we were there with 33, but media played a huge role in that war. 1999 was a war which was televised, which was, media had highlighted it. Probably media never took their attention towards the naval role, and then Admiral Sushil Kumar had to write a book to tell about the role of Navy and significance of Operation Talwar. But yes, last few years have been very significant in terms of people like me coming on various channels and telling the role of Navy, telling the role of Navy. Now at least people are aware. Otherwise, when we used to say about Vijay Star Medal, a lot of people used to ask, कि जहाज नहीं जहाज कैसे कारगिल पहुंच गया? How did ship reach Kargil? So that was the knowledge. That is the knowledge which people have. Many of them even today, like so. That was the role of Navy because your entire logistics happen from sea. और कोई भी कंट्री का अगर आप लॉजिस्टिक बंद कर दो तो दे बिकम क्रिपल्ड दे बिकम क्रिपल्ड सो नेवी प्लेड अ वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक एंड टैक्टिकल रोल in the entire operation. And probably Navy was the first one to support, uh, to give the entire backup to the army. When the then defense minister called for, a tri-services meeting, Admiral Sushil Kumar was the first one to say, okay, we are all out, if
Okay.
required, we will attack Pakistan. So yeah, probably the role was undermined probably because of nobody wrote about us.
Clearly, means it was not advertised as well, as you told.
Yeah, whatever.
One of the reason maybe because C is not in the in the viewership of media, so they cannot like really go
Yeah,
and
that is one of the primary reasons because news channel cannot reach there and things like that. And definitely, had they come also, we would not have taken them with us to the sea.
obviously.
Unlike the terrestrial terrain where they can reach by their vehicle or somewhere, sea में बहुत difficult है.
So, sir, what are your views on these current movies and series made on armies and all the defense forces? Do you
You
think
see
that
again,
you may
yeah,
proceed?
see, entertainment and media plays a very important channel because that's a very strong medium for everyone to connect with the people. And so it's good that a lot of movies are coming on the armed forces. A movie like a Ghazi or Uri or Sher Shah. It is very very important for our economy as well as for our forces because there is a medium which reflects us. A movie like Ayari or a movie like why a KK Menon is famous as Brigadier Rudra even today. So that's something left leave an impact, right? So same goes. It is very very important to have, but My only submission here is it has to show in a right way. There are people who don't do research, they even don't know about the rebels, they don't know about the stripes, and then they just portray. So, but yes, good movies like Uri and all have done their research, done their, uh, they would be very, only 10-20% away from the real fact and the, actual depiction. But there are movies like Ekta Kapoor and all. She just shows something stupid about uniform and things like that. So that should not happen. Definitely, lots and lots of other movies should be made on the various heroes of the armed forces. Various heroes. There are n number of heroes. Many heroes are known to the world, and
Many are
if
not known.
there are 5% known to the world, there are 90% unknown to the world.
Mhm.
So media, the role of media should be to unearth that stories of
Mhm.
rest 90%. And I'm
The role
sure,
of media
I'm
should
sure.
be to aspire people to look up to
Exactly,
these heroes and
Exactly.
look
exactly,
forward to serve
exactly,
the country as well.
exactly.
But I feel the main aim for making them is entertainment. That I feel is not the right way to move forward. We should
See,
depict it.
even in a movie, war movies and all, the entertainment quotient is uh, there is scope for entertainment quotient. A movie like what do you call a movie like LOC, which depicted the fact, a movie like Lakshya, which has become a cult, a movie like Pan Singh Tomar for his earlier part as army guy, and there was this movie about Milkha Singh Saab. So there are a lot of scopes. If you purely see from the entertainment factor, why a border is loved even today. It's my generation movie. So even today, youngsters love that movie.
Yes.
And then very important thing is awareness. That is what, why people like me as a veteran, we are on various channels or
Exactly.
Instagram, because it's to make people aware about the armed forces. It's a beautiful career, it's a beautiful force. You have everything. Yeah, maybe money may not be, if someone wants money, it's not the right place. But for rest all, it's an awesome career. So the role of media should be again to highlight the awesomeness of the armed forces, the journey, and of course, if something goes wrong, they will have to highlight. There is no second thought about it. But yeah, primarily to motivate, right? That
Yes.
should be their role.
So, what is the story of Lieutenant Saurabh Kalia? He's your best mate, I suppose, and we
Yeah,
have.
so Saurabh,
Yes.
Saurabh was, you would have read when the uh,
Started kind of.
Kargil happened. Uh, when we were told, just वहाँ चरवाहों ने बताया था कि there are some suspicious moments. So army sent the first patrol which army sent was Saurabh and his team. बाकी 5 soldiers थे, and they were trapped. They didn't come back. They were taken as prisoner of war. War had actually not happened, but they were termed as POWs, and they were tortured brutally. Like
Yes.
सौरभ के तो आंख ये कर दिए थे, उंगली तोड़ दिए थे, सिगरेट बट्स थे उसके, और उसके बाकी साथी. So that was a denial of Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention के हिसाब से once you catch someone as POW, you are supposed to treat him like a soldier. So everything was broken. So
They
it
are.
was very sad affair. So Saurav is my batch equivalent from IMA, and I am from INA. So we were of the same batch. So it
Okay.
becomes, further sad to all of us who are from that up and down batch. Batra sir was 6 months senior, and then we were all in that age bracket, 22, 23.
Okay.
So more or less, all of us are from that phase. Some got to actually go there when considering army. They were in the forefront, infantry and artillery and all those people. Navy had a different role. Our Air Force had a different role. So yes, we still feel for Dr. Kalia because he's still fighting that case. So pretty sad.
Yes.
Yes. So what were the joint exercises like? Like the ones that involve army and navy together, that kind of exercises.
Yes, we do have a lot of exercises which happen, which involves Army, Navy, Air Force. That's the part of game, exercises are preparation for the actual wars, and then you replicate that scenarios. Then there are summer X, winter X, which happens wherein you involve the army, you involve the air force, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing for you to prepare for that scenario. Then army has its own exercises, air force has its own exercises. There are tri-services exercises. Then we invite other navies also, the other friendly navies for this particular exercise. We exercise with them in terms of technology and warfare and things like that. So you have to be prepared always, right? So that's the essence of entire thing.
Okay, sir.
So talking about the end of your career, how tough was it to hang your uniform and knowing that you won't be wearing it tomorrow?
Yeah, it is always tough, it is always tough. You ask any soldier whether he served for 7 years. Earlier there used to be 5 years also, 5, 7, 10, 14, and plus 20 plus. So for all soldier, the last day is tough, because you know that uniform was like your second skin, and then you are totally getting to be away from it in next few days. So it's a very emotional moment. It is as the emotion is as high as the day you wear the uniform, So both are similar occasions. It's not easy. It's not easy. That's what I want to tell. But then yes, you will cherish those days when you are in uniform, and yes, you do speak about it always. You have that love for, but you have to move on. That's what life is. And in our parlance, we say that being in service is temporary. Being in service is temporary. Being a veteran is permanent. you know. So being in uniform is temporary, 5, 7, 10, and when coming out of it is permanent. So you have to accept that fact, and then you have to live it, positively.
Hmm.
So you did combat in South Africa, 89 kilometers run. So how was that experience and how did your running journey started?
So yes, when I came out of Navy, that was in 2009. So that time, probably I had an undetected hypothyroid. I'm a hypothyroid. So thyroid is a deficiency wherein the your T3, T4, and TSH hormones, which secretes the thyroid hormone, your metabolism changes. If it doesn't work. So for me, the thyroid went undetected. As a result of which, I started putting weight, and then I was like 107 kgs at one point of time after leaving Navy, and that was the calling for me to get back to fitness. Because I was not doing anything. I was searching for job because I didn't had a job when I left Navy. There was a lull period, so lot of mental things goes on, and you have a family to fetch, EMIs to take care, so many things. So in that bargain, I'd lost on health, but yes, it was temporary. Then I started the very basic funda of Forge running. Running gives you everything. And when the running happened, that was the time distance running as a sports was picking up in India, especially Mumbai. Mumbai was the hub of it. And then, yes, we started running 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and then things changed, half marathon, 21, 42. And in 2009, I decided to go for this event, which is 89 kilometers in South Africa. It is considered to be the world's toughest, one of the toughest, and very prestigious more than anything, because you get a chance to be the part of your Indian contingent, unofficial, not official,
Kind
unofficial.
of represent your country once again.
Correct, because you represent, you wear colors, your country colors and everything, and then uh, so it was a very prestigious moment. But the training involves everything, 5 months of strict training, 5 months of everything, and then yes, lot of practice, lot of nutrition, rest, sleep, and there is a pattern which happens. And yeah, June 19, I participated and I completed that run in 11 hours 48 minutes, because you have to complete in 12 hours. So 11 hours 48 minutes, and I'm running again next year. That is in June 23. So the training programs have already started. The base building has started again. So it's a distance running is a sports. It's like it's you versus you. It's because we know that age is not on our side. Neither you get selected for representation in Olympics or anything. It's you versus you. The day I run 5 kilometer, my self-esteem is so high. 10 kilometers, you will imagine कि oh this much distance मैं इतना भी कर सकता हूँ. So marathon is a beautiful sport. So that was my comrades experience.
Mhm. And so, just one more question, sir, because our podcast is about the young people in order to inspire them. So, sir, what would be your message to them as the person you have seen so many ups and so many lows? So, what was your mental state basically? How did you train yourself for going through these situations? What would be your message for the
So
viewers?
my message would be, be confident, believe in yourself first. That is the first attribute, first one of those OLQs also, which you need to have. You have to believe in yourself. Once you believe in yourself, chalk out the plan and work on it. Work on it. Ki where I want, both consciously as well as subconsciously, and then work on your physical health as well as mental health. These days mental health has taken a very important seat in our life.
Mhm. Right. Yes.
It's a silent killer. It's a silent killer if you don't work on it. With so much of distractions around. So your goal has to be very clear and what you want. Like if you want to join the armed forces, your goal has to be oriented towards it. So whatever is required to achieve that, you have to achieve. Getting physically fit or clearing a CDS or a AFCAT or whatever you say, you have to orient yourself towards it. Because see, your last chance come till 25 years, and then thereafter, even if you try, you won't be able to. So
Yes.
you have to give your best till that time, till the time you have a last attempt, right? Orient yourself and uh, uh, put in a lot of effort in helping others. Also, be a human more than anything. Be a human being rather than anything else. You should not be a selfish goat where you only think about yourself. Joining armed forces is all about brotherhood. It's all about helping each other. It's a teamwork. It's not about individual glory. So that habit you have to inculcate at the appropriate stage when you are appearing for all these exams. That is what they see in SSB. And then you turn up to be a good person, whether you join army or not, that's secondary. Uh, even I don't say that for contributing to our country, progress of our country, you need to join the army or wear uniform. Nothing like that. All of us are soldiers. All of us are, responsible citizens of our
Of
country.
countries.
So that's my message to you that believe in yourself and work towards the progress of our nation, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
So, some final question. So, how has your life changed after Navy? And what would it have been if you have not joined the Navy?
Yes, life, if I had not joined Navy, probably I would have been into teaching rather, teaching.
Oh, okay.
The first legal choice, would have been teaching. Because I love teaching and mentoring. Uh, Post Navy life has been beautiful. The initial phase was tough when I said I was finding out the right job to pitch the case. It was a transition phase. When I look back now, 13 years hence, 14 years I left Navy. It's good. It's good because you are still touched to you are rooted, even you are rooted today towards Navy. Even your peers and the command invite you for everything. You are not out of the fraternity. Now you are
Yeah.
veterans as
Yes.
a veteran community, you are very, very strong. You have your own say in the affairs of, though not directly, but I can always voice. Veteran communities are growing very strong. Like what used to happen in US, Australia, and all. Earlier, veteran community was not strong in India, but thanks to Instagram and places like this, you would be seeing a lot of veterans there.
Yes.
So
Nowadays.
we are becoming very strong. So you are that way you are still connected to your roots in the armed forces. Your batchmates are at senior position, so you have that privilege also. Whenever you go in the armed forces, you get that respect because I was being at the senior position. Uh, yeah, life has been pretty good. Your personality, your entire personality changes. The way you look up to life, the way you have seen death so closely. So you believe in life. Once you see death, you believe in the importance of life, and then you realize how beautiful life is. And you get only one chance to live it. And if you get one chance to live it fully and happily. Right? That is what the entire uh, years of experience has taught.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Genuinely meant a lot. I personally have learned a lot from this conversation, and hopefully, people who will watch will also learn a lot.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. All the best. God bless. Stay blessed.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.